Welcome over to ChessWhiz TV episode 460. I'm your host, The Wiz. Today is April 14th, 2019. I stopped saying that for years because I thought, I can just look on YouTube and see what day it is. I don't need to be saying the date. If you go back to the really old episodes, I said the date at the start of every episode. But then I realized, what if YouTube goes down? What if everything goes down and we all die? And then no one will know what date this video was aired on. So now you know. Aired doesn't make any sense because it's not broadcast over the air. Well, I guess it kind of is. Let's play chess. Let's forget about this. So we're going to play Fuel Chess today. It's going to be a new variant sent to me by somebody I've never met. Is that awesome? I don't know. Let's play it. So Fuel Chess works like this. Your pawns act as fuel to your pieces. Every pawn that you have somewhere on the board is like a little cache of fuel. I love cache, by the way. And if you have 8 of them, your pieces can move up to 8 squares, which pretty much doesn't limit their abilities. For example, queens can go like, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 pawns is good enough to get anywhere you want. But as you start losing pawns, the distance you can travel is reduced. Like if you have 5 pawns left, your queens can only move that far. Now, I don't know how many queens you have, but you get the idea. Here come the rules. Okay, now I'm going to type the rules. You ready? Mr. Typing is going to type them. Here we go. You may only move a piece at a maximum distance as the number of pawns you have on the board. Does that make any sense? I hope so. So for example, knights, this is distance of 2. If you have 1 pawn, knight cannot move. King does not follow this rule. King and pawns do not follow this rule. Okay, so that's like a whole bunch of text because I didn't think about how to write the rules. I just thought of the rules. And by that I meant I read an email that had them in it. So I was like, I should check my ChessWhiz TV email. Seems like it's April because let's be honest, there's a chessboard behind me and I'm pretty stupid. That didn't make it go away. Why is there a chessboard there? There we go. Okay. What was I saying? I check my email about once a month. If you ever written to me and been like, hey, ChessWhiz, I have a message for you, I'll read that next month, so don't even worry. And one time I read my email, and in it was the idea for this variant. Of course, he didn't call it Fuel Chess. He called it like Dumb Chess or something like that. But I've changed the name, but the idea is the same. He wrote me this message about all of this elaborate description, like several paragraphs. So you're lucky I got it into 3 messages here. And then after he was done, he sent it. And then days later, he sent me another message. Of course, I hadn't read the first one because I don't really read my mail. And days later, I got another message that said, wait a minute, if you lose all your pawns, you can't move. He thought this was a problem. He hadn't considered that kings wouldn't follow the rule. So he's like, well, your king is now stuck. And that's stalemate. So he adjusted his rules and said kings don't have to follow them. It's a good thing he did that because otherwise I wouldn't be able to move my king after I lose all my pawns. Now, how often does that happen? I don't know. We'll find out here. So I'm in a pin. Do I care? I'll just bump it. This is a very, very quiet game, if you get the pun. You get the pun? It's a quiet game. You don't get the pun, do you? Fine. This opening is called the Gioco Piano, which is Italian for game quiet. Roughly translated. This is a good time to fork my opponent, I think. Bam! Right in the face. I got a question in the chat. Mate on F7 wants to know, what is your favorite song? Mine is, and then a link to a YouTube video. That is probably never going to give you up. So I'm not going to click that link. But oh, cool. I'm still forking the guy. Yeah, maybe that wasn't the best way to get out of your fork because you're still literally forked. So watch out for that. Definitely not clicking that link. But I will tell you my favorite song right now is Tendril by AU5. It is so, so good. However, you have to listen to it in super nice headphones like these. These were $90 used. $90 used. And they're actually wired headphones, but it's detachable wiring. So I took the wire out because I didn't want to hear myself. Because, sound of my voice is kind of annoying. I'll just take his stuff for free. This is weird. He offers a draw. Is this weird? I've fallen for this before. It's like, oh, he wants a take back. So I just click the check mark, but it's a draw, not a take back. Don't fall for that, guys. I fell for it, so you don't have to. So I take all the wires out. So all these do is pin my ears back. You can't see my ears, right? That's the point. Because if I were to take these off, my ears would like extend outside the range of the camera. They stick out really, really far. Now, of course, the reason for that is that I have this gigantic brain pushing out my ears. But I'm somewhat embarrassed by my large brain. It's hard to fit in with crowds or also doorways. It's hard to fit into doorways. So I wear these so that you can't tell how weird I am. You cannot tell how weird I am, right? You definitely not because you don't listen to anything I say. I trust. That would kind of give it away. So he's still like suiciding his everything. So let's just win. Pin this knight. He probably should have captured this way because this is a deadly pin. Deadly, deadly pin. He's very deadlied here. Because look how ouch this is. Very ouch. By the way, there's a rule in chess, a rule of thumb is what I mean, that says if you've got an enemy pinned piece, you should attack it. And that's what I'm doing right here. He's pinned and I'm attacking it. Anytime you've pinned an opponent's piece, I'll let him run out of time, I guess. You should attack it or consider how to attack it. Maybe attacking it's not a great idea, but let's see if he wants to play again. He may not because that was so humiliating. He wants to go into a corner and shed tears, but we'll see what he wants to do. He wants to just stare at his computer for a bit. Okay, I'll do that. Interesting computer. There it is, the rematch. What was I saying? Yes, chess is a little bit like boxing. Somewhat lower risk of losing a tooth, but other than that, it's very similar. And here's the similarity. If your opponent's moving around, it's harder to punch him. That's true in chess also. So in chess, if you pin his piece like this, oh, it's pinned. He can't move it. So that's when you want to punch him with your pawn and take it. Does that make sense? Great. Okay, so he's going to try to make fuel chess be a thing, but it turns out that this is just chess. And I'm awesome at chess. In case you're wondering, you're like, who should I watch right now? Let's go see who's streaming on lechess.org. What do we have? We have International Master Quetch. Or I could watch The Wiz. Well, probably The Wiz because he's really good at chess. So let's watch him. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why people watch. Maybe it's for the chess variants. Or maybe it's for all the very insightful things I say. Such as, what's one insightful thing that I said once? Well, I said, we're all going to die. Eventually. Okay, that was one of my less insightful things. Now that I consider it more carefully. So I'm actually thinking of trading my bad bishop. It's bad because these are on the light colored squares along with the bishop. See, it's bad. For his good bishop, he spent a lot of moves, to get this bishop out into the game. So if I were to just, he can't now avoid trading with me. He can't avoid it. And so he's going to trade. As a result, I've got a bunch of challengers up here. We've got Meta and F7, Doname, and Game Genesis, all my close friends. You know, last week I asked, why do you watch this show? Is it because of how handsome I am? You just want to look at handsome people? And actually, several people had a different reason, which was, I'm so connected to my viewership. I'm very connected. In fact, my viewership is off camera down here. I don't have legs. I just have viewership down there. That's how connected I am. Okay, that was a little weird. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. But that was why they watch. Like, I feel connected to you, figuratively speaking. Let's stay with that. We're not really Siamese ChessWhiz TV, are we? That'd be gross. I'm liking this position. Why is that? Because I'm moss growing on trees. Get it? You don't get it. Lichen is a kind of moss. Next time, just laugh so you're not embarrassed, okay? What do we have going on right now? I still have all my pawns. Yeah, this is just chess, right? Because we have all our pawns. We're not limited by movement. You may move a piece at a maximum distance as the number of pawns you have on the board. ChessWhiz. If you have only one piece pawn, the king cannot. I'm not very good at communicating anymore, but that's okay. In the future, computers will communicate for us. All we have to do is sit around and eat Jell-O. We won't have to communicate. That's going to be such a great future. We won't even have to move around. Have you ever watched the movie Wall-E? If you haven't seen it, it's only like 15 years old, so it just came out. You should go watch it. 10 years old probably. It's great, great movie. One of the best. One of the best movies. And if you have seen it, then you can definitely relate to me because we're so connected. I'm thinking now that I might trade one of my things for one of his things. That's what I'm thinking. Is that a good idea? Nah. I've changed my mind. Now I'm thinking of just taking a pawn for free and getting skewered or losing my pawn. That sounds good. My plan here is to disconnect and reconnect him. You see what he's doing right here? Disconnect, reconnect. See how that dot turned gray? It's gray right now, isn't it? No, now it's green. Oh, am I losing my vision? That looked gray for a sec there. Okay, now he's blundered into that. That was my real trap, was like, leave this knight here until he forgets what he's doing and takes it. That's my new plan. Okay, so now I'm just destroying him. Look at that. A pinned piece is attacked twice. He's in trouble. He is in big trouble, as they say on ChessWhiz TV. Oh, now let's switch this from a pin to a fork. Awesome is defeated. Good game. Awesome, Rossum. Triple good game. That was the G'est of G's, as they say here in Canada. Let's play one of these games here. I've got 3 challengers. I appreciate. I'll just say that was fun. That was just so he feels like at least one of us had fun. Let's play with Doname. Doname is one of my closest friends, guys. I have a list of my friends on my wall, and there's 2 of them. And Doname is second to the top. The first one, of course, is a guy who died, so that's a little sad, but forget about that. Okay, Doname says hello. Let's send him the rules, and let's try to communicate here with this computer thing. Da 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 da. Wow, this is a lot of work. I work with computers for a living, so you might think, hey, I'm playing computer games, but for me, it's like I am working the mouse. Man, this is a lot of work. Okay, so we're not going to block my c-pawn. This game, we're going to go at it. What kind of opening did we play here? We played a 3 knights, and I just forgot what was happening. Cool. If he takes this pawn, I'll be somewhat embarrassed. So let's defend it with the queen. Okay, this is not in the opening books, by the way. They don't talk about this line. Because it's too cool for the opening books. I have this opening book that's this thick. And because it's an opening book, I just leave it on the table. I don't open it. I'm assuming it's going to open itself, hence the name, which might be why my opening looks like this. I've got no idea how to play an opening, but hey, I at least have an opening book. I'm still waiting for it to open. Let's see. Bishop will move to one of these squares. This looks a lot like game 1. Now in game 1, I won the game. Get it? Because it's game 1. Okay, that's not a great joke. But I have this friend. He's not on the list, but he's still my friend. And you know what he does? He makes these super stupid puns. Like every sentence that comes out of his mouth has this weird double meaning. Like for example, let me give you an example. This is such a stupid pun, I can hardly even say it to you. It's even stupider than my standard level of stupid, which is like off camera. It's this stupid. It's down here with my viewership between my legs. That sounded appropriate. So here's the pun. We're playing right now a series of games called Scythe, The Rise of Fenris. It's like a series of board games. And then after you play the first one, you like write down like how you did, and then new rules occur. And then the next game is different. It's kind of like an RPG for board games. It's a board game that changes every game. Like the rules change every time you play it. So it's like a legacy style game, if you know what that means. So it's called The Rise of Fenris. And here's what he says to me. He texts to me because I have a machine that sends texts and receives them. I want to play c5. Why? 2 reasons. First of all, that's a good square for the pawn. And also, I don't need this pawn. I already have one. Look at that. They're both the same. I don't need both. Okay, so he sends me this text. I'm Fenris excited to play again. That is so bad I wouldn't even say it on this show. Oh, wait, I just did. Fenris excited, meaning very, right? Except it's called Fenris. Like, okay, now I've explained a pun. Probably the only thing worse than sharing that pun with you is explaining it. That was pretty bad. Okay, so if I move this knight, instant discovery. So let's move it somewhere awesome, like there. Well. Speaking of that, speaking of well, if it isn't a very deep hole with water. There's so many well jokes. For example, never mind, I can't think of that joke right now. And the thing I really hate doing besides eating Brussels sprouts is failing to tell a joke. Like I arrange the joke in my head, but oops, I got the punchline first, and then I start off with the punchline. That's typically how I begin. And I'm like, no, this is worse than Brussels sprouts. Second to Brussels sprouts is what I mean. Let's get that straight. And then quickly I delete the video from the internet because, you know, studies show that if you remove something from the internet, it's gone and no one will ever see it again. So that's what I do. Let's see, how are we doing? We got 6 pawns, so now we're limited in range. We cannot move 7 squares. Okay. So like this queen and this rook, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can still move that far. Lol. Okay, when do I win this game? This is taking a long time. He's got 3 defenders on this pawn. I almost moved here, but then I used my brain and I didn't move there. Let's see what we can do. We're going to arrange a victory. I'm running out of time. You can't see that. Oh, you can see my time. I need to cover that with my head. I'm doing fine on time right now. He's cheating. That's a cheat. I might have to move. Okay, that's a cheat. Your rook can't move that far. His strategy is to make me type. so that I run out of time trying to type messages to him. There's really three parts to the game here. There's the chessboard and what's on it. That's like the third most important part of a game. Oops. Then the second most important part of a game. Oops. Is. Oops. Is the chat box. I think it's tied actually between the chat box and the timer over here, because the goal of the game, generally speaking, is to leverage the chat box to win on the timer. It's like you use one and the other. So I seem to have used a series of blunders here to spice up the show. Hope you're enjoying the show, by the way. If you're not enjoying the show, you have several options, such as not watching. I've trapped my knight. Oops. I'm not feeling particularly smart right now. That's like 4 blunders in a row. What I need to do is trade a massive number of pawns. Because if I can eliminate enough of his pawns, and by that I mean pee them out, is that what that means? Then his rook can't move very far. So his rook can move up to 4 squares here. It's already quite limited. It needs to be more limited. This is bad. Being down a rook is pretty significant. I think even if I limit it to 1 square, it's still hopeless. Hey, he did move in a bad direction. He should have just taken my pawn, so that's good. I'm playing down a rook. Why am I doing that? I don't know why I'm doing it. Actually, nobody knows why they do anything. You might think you know, and you're wrong. So this is my theory. It's unprovable. There's actually 6 uns. I was not stuttering, which means it can't not be undisproved, which is that you don't know. You never know what you're doing, why you're doing it. I don't really like theories that can't be disproved. But here's the idea behind them. Well, I guess I lose. He hasn't lost enough pawns. I resign. Go away, Donane. Let's play again where I don't blunder 4 times in the middle game. In a row, 4 moves in a row. Let's play that way. That was depressing. I'm feeling very depressed right now. Fortunately, that's so you don't have to. I mean, if you're watching right now and you're thinking, oh, I feel bad for ChessWhiz. Yay, my first win. Hey, let's all feel good for Donane because he just beat me for the first time. The second time, actually, if you look down here. He's won 2 in a row. Depressing. I'm very depressed right now. No, actually, that's 1 in a row. I misread it. He got a draw, and he got a win. So that's 1.5. That's his first win right there. Why do we play the same opening every game? That's weird. Weird. Okay, there's something going on in the chat. It says, Daviator. YouTube. Hey, Daviator. Welcome to the show. He says, what if you run out of pawns? Then you must kill yourself. No, just kidding. Then you can't move anything except your king. Castles, huh? I'll just go this way. It's pretty good. I don't think castles was right. Wait, it was right. So now, if I take that, he takes this. So I'll just castles. This doesn't seem right, because he's going to lose the c-pawn. Which c's wrong. d4. Now, there's another question in the chat. How do we play this variant? Good question. I'm offended, says Stinger87. Yes, now I have achieved my goal in life. Stinger is offended. So if I take this, and he plays queen c2, he's threatening down here, and he's threatening over here at the same time. Man, that is gross. So let's... By the way, that means that's big. I'm speaking German temporarily there. The word groß means big in German. That's not how you pronounce it, though. Groß? Their R's are a little bit weird. But hey, so am I. So let's see. We're doing some chess moves. I have 3 defenders here. He has 4 attackers. So I have counted, and 4 is more than 3. There 5, I need to move out of the way. You're right. Don't defend it anymore. I got tired of defending it. So let's try this. This is interesting. He's going to have 2 bishops against 2 knights. But with 6 pawns, his bishops will be limited. They won't be able to move from this corner, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, to that corner. In fact, you already can't do that, don't aim. Can't move that far. The one thing that really annoys you guys is when people cheat and break the rules that I make up. So I'm definitely going to enforce that. Also because I noticed it. So yeah, I'll trade you here, I guess. And then he's got a bad bishop and I'm winning. Fantastic. I'll put my knight right here. Don't draw that arrow. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. I would like to have my knight here, but I can't get there very well. By the way, if you're wondering about knights, wonder no longer. Knights have a super sick time getting 2 squares diagonally. Like, not just like partly sick. It's very sick time. Have you ever tried to move a knight 2 squares diagonally? It takes forever. And that's a little tip I'll just give you, by the way, because I'm only going to give you the tip, if you know what I mean. So the knight has to move 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. To get 2 squares diagonally, which is a mess. Now, you can choose just about any sequence of 4 moves. Like, you want to start this way? No problem. You can still get there in 4 moves. You see? Like, oh, I'm leaving the show. Nope, you're still back. You can get there in 4 moves. However, I do want to protect this pawn by moving it forward, I think. And then here. This is going to be a pretty good shape here. I'm going to make a shape. I'm also going to drink this orange water. So I have a knight and he has a bishop. That means I want to trade pawns so that my knight's not limited, but his bishop is more and more limited. I have 7 pawns. Oh, and he has 6, so I could also just take a bunch of pawns. And then he can't move. Oh, take all his fuel away. This is going to be the first game where I get excited, because the first few games were not very exciting. Sorry, I'm not good in counting that much. You don't count for much, don't aim. That's what it sounds like you're saying. It's too bad, huh? Okay, so you can still move this far. I have 7 pawns, so I can capture that. None of these facts is useful to me. Let's continue making small moves here for a sec while scratching my own chin. Okay, okay. Let's talk about something new. Let's talk about something new. Have you ever considered all the different things in the world? There's so many different things. And by things, I mean materials. It's weird how many different materials there are in the world. For example, there's metal, lots of different metals. And there's also brains, which aren't made of metal, so that's a different class of things. See, just those 2 things are very interesting, brains and metals. And I haven't even listed the various forms of plastic. So yes, that's worthy of a conversation. I'm now noticing that was a free bishop thanks to the knight. What in the world? That was a free bishop thanks to the knight. Oh, your opponent proposes a take back. What did I just click? You are making me very angry. It says draw. I'm going to send him a drooling face. Because, is that a drooling face? That's a very old man with a beard. A weird beard. Okay, that was the worst outcome I can imagine is drawing with this guy. I'm so annoyed I'm going to play with Game Genesis. That was also a rated game, so my rating is now that much lower. Hi Game Genesis. I'm not thinking about Doname anymore. He's definitely not on my mind. Doname is the last person on my mind, and I'm definitely not thinking about that unfair draw that just happened. I'm completely focused on everything that isn't that draw. Wow, I just thought of an elephant. And not a draw, by the way. Yep, definitely no draw in my head right now. I've completely cleared my head of that draw. I'm not even thinking about it. Wow, it's very difficult. It's difficult to focus on everything that's not that draw for such a long period of time. 10 seconds. Very hard, very hard. But fortunately, I've succeeded, and now it is in the past, where it will be forgotten forever. It actually literally will be forgotten forever. I mean, you, small handful of people, are the only ones who know that ever happened. And soon, you will forget. Very soon, actually. In a matter of years, which is very soon. On the intergalactic timetable, you must admit. And then once you've forgotten, I will relish the fact that nobody remembers that draw, not even me. I'm going to, every day of my life, I'll be like, yes, there's something I don't remember, and I'm so happy about that. That would be kind of weird, actually. There is someone in the chat named after a fruit. Mango, whatever he is. He's probably an actual mango. He's just disguised as a person named Mango. He says he won't forget, so he'll probably forget first. Let's see. What should I do with my rooks? We're going to open up this game. Maybe this move. Yes, definitely that move. So we need to put the rooks in useful places. I like to put people to use. in my slave mines. So let's do this. Uh-oh. Founticos is now following me on Twitch. Or is it Fonticos? You never know. That's strange. A new follower. Generally, I don't like new followers. They kind of creep me out. So if you're considering following the show right now, don't do it. Just don't do it. Well, we've traded bishops. But look at that. I have the best center pawn. It's on the 4th rank. Look at this. Very, very central. And he has 0 on his rank of centerness. So that's an increased centerness for me. Mate on f7 wants to know if he can play next. Let's take a look at the challenge list here. He's not challenging. I have Scraggly Pawn and Deviator Gum, which is short for gum. He left the G out. I mean the U. Oh, I lost my pawn, didn't I? This calls for something really good, like a temper tantrum. That would be good. Blundered my pawn. How am I that dumb? I don't know. Don't blunder your queen, ChessWhiz. That would be a good thing to notice, right? I've noticed. By the way, speaking of noticing, I just noticed that this is the 5-year anniversary of ChessWhiz TV. Did you notice that? No, because you weren't watching 5 years ago. You weren't my fan, because I only had one fan back then. And when I was feeling too warm, I turned it on. Get it? Okay, so 5 years ago, today, approximately, give or take a week, was the very first episode of ChessWhiz TV. And let me tell you, that is the most watched episode, because when people wander in, usually it's because they search for atomic chess and #1 video, ChessWhiz, let's watch that. Wow, definitely not watching this. Like, what is this pile of steaming pile? So they're like, well, let's look at episode 1 to form my final judgment. So they go back to episode 1, and they're like, wow, this is a really, really bad show. So that's the end of that. In fact, I only find out because I never find out. I just assume. How many pawns do I have? 6? I can't cross that divide. He has 7. He has more fuel. This is serious. This calls for some lip biting. All right, here's the plan. We're going to win this pawn. Here we go. The only way to do it is to hope he messes up. Here we go. Uh-oh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And don't tell him that he can move that far and I cannot. So that's really bad. Where did his pawn go? I was going to take that pawn. Man, that was scary. He could have just put me out of my misery, but he didn't. That's good. Oh, fortunately there's a delay in the stream. So it's like 10 seconds later after he's not taken my rook, then that he's watching the stream, he's like, oh, he sees that. So that's good. So we have an awful chess position here, as usual. But fortunately, this show is not about the chess. I changed that years ago, in year 2. In year 1, it was like, let's play really good chess. And then after a year, I noticed I was really bad at chess. I just noticed that after a while. So then I changed it up. I'm like, what we're going to do is the world's fastest chess. And my slogan was, the fastest chess you've ever seen. And then I realized there's much faster chess, and you've seen it. So I changed it again. Now we just like say dumb stuff. That's the new. I resigned, Game Genesis. I don't want to be forked. That would be humiliating. I'll play you again, though. Definitely I'll play you again. Fortunately, it's casual, so we're all going to forget this ever happened. You know what this means? Usually it's done at arm's length, by the way, like this. Oh, that's not a problem. We can solve that. You know what that means? What does that say in your head when you see this? When you see someone go like this? Psh. You don't know? Well, I'm not telling you, that's for sure, because I just did it subconsciously, and I don't want to reveal what that really means about me. Okay, we've got a guy named Nomad Chess in the chat. He says Nomad Chess. What does that mean? Does it mean chess where I am not mad? No madness? You know what I mean? Or is he a nomad, which is a wanderer, someone who has no home? I could just wonder, or I could ask him. Oh, let's go with wonder. I'll just wonder. Oh, this is cool. Double pawns is bad, but center pawns? Look at that mass of center pawns, literally a mass. He has more center pawns than I do, so that's good for him. Well, this calls for some clever commentary right now to keep you watching, because you're probably about to turn it off. Your spaghetti is overdone. You need to go turn that off. Actually, you're not cooking spaghetti, are you, David? No. Actually, the funny thing is, there is probably someone named David who is not cooking spaghetti while watching this show. That's the weird thing. It's called the law of small numbers. The law of I wish the numbers were larger. The law of large numbers says that if you've got enough of something, then random weird stuff you would expect never to happen happens. For example, last night, an employee of Walmart killed someone else using a killing device. And that's true because of the number of employees of Walmart in the world. There's like millions of employees of Walmart. So it would be very surprising if none of them killed anyone last night. Very surprising. It seems like that's a free pawn, doesn't it? Take, take, take. Definitely. 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 Let's do it. We got someone in the chat. We got someone in the chat who says, I am named David, not cooking spaghetti. That's cool. We got a liar in the chat. Nice. You can never believe people on the internet. By the way, if you're new to the internet, let me help you out. Everyone is lying. It's not just me helping you out. Just in case you're wondering, like, wow, really? Everyone? No, not everyone, because I'm on the internet. If that were true, I'd be saying that I was lying, which would be a paradox. It's impossible for me to say that the sentence I'm currently saying is false. Right? I didn't just say that. That's impossible. Let me try again. This sentence is false. Weird, I still exist. How is that possible? Okay, let's step it up a notch here. Okay, ready? Here we go. The following sentence is true. The previous sentence was false. How do I still exist? I thought that would like the universe would lock up. I mean, universe control alt delete would have to occur. That just dated me. Back in the days of the disk operating system, also known as DOS, we used Control Alt Delete when our computers locked up. You probably don't know what that means. In a lock up situation, the mouse does not move. Man, that's not like today. Let's try this move. I'm getting tired of this bishop. Let's get it off the board here. It kind of smells. There we go. It's gone. Okay. Yeah, a long time ago, our computers did that. Before you were born, actually. Our computers, here's what they would do. They'd be like running the game and then, oh, nothing. It would just lock up. And then that'd be it. You'd have to reset, control, delete, whatever. That's all you could do. This knight is not helping, so let's move it. General strategy, beside the fact you should not take strategy from me, right? By the way, right? You should not be listening to anything I have to say because I'm losing all my games with stupid moves. But if you want to get some strategy ideas from me, try this one. If you are wondering what to move, find a piece that's not contributing, such as your sister, and move it to a square where it would contribute, such as trade it off the board, aka get rid of her. Actually, your sister is contributing a lot more than you. You just don't want to admit it. I'm thinking here. I have 7 pawns. So let's make this battery shape. See, with 7 pawns, you can move the entire length of the board. No problem. Right? So I can just go from here to here with 7 pawns. He has a limited quantity of pawns, like 6. That's definitely not 7, right? So he's more limited. Let's give him a little time here. I always try to do that when I'm winning so that I can win for longer. You know, it's really about the experience. And if you win a short game, it's like it didn't matter. You got to win some long games. Like, ooh, I'm still winning. Oh, this is great. I'm winning. Wow. I seem to be winning this chess game. Doesn't happen very often, in case you're wondering. Let's trade queens. Let's do it. Run away. Run away. He has to because I have checkmate if he doesn't trade. Ish. I mean, I guess he could have moved here, but forget about that. Okay, so I'm ahead by a pawn. This actually could be interesting because rook endgames, there's a saying about rook endgames, which is that all rook endgames are drawn. And this is a rook endgame right here. The reason it's a draw is because it's very, very hard to make a new queen in a rook endgame. So we're going to see if the chess variant, the fuel chess variant, changes that. Because as you could see, you may only move a piece at a maximum distance as the number of pawns you have on the board. If you have only 1 pawn, knights cannot move king. Knights, pawns do not follow this rule. I added a word. You get the idea. Wow, I definitely did a bad job explaining these rules. I have no idea what I just said. Someone is typing LOL. I think that stands for lots and lots of love. So thank you for sending that. I appreciate that. Uh, hmm. Still seem to be playing chess. One of these days, we're going to switch from ChessWhiz TV to like League of Legends TV, and there will be no more chess. This whole show will be like different, right? I'll also be dead. One of these days, that's going to happen. Hmm. I'm actually kind of sad. Despite the fact that I keep reminding you of my own death, I'm kind of sad about that. I was thinking about that the other day, and I was like, that's really sad. Every day, actually, I think about it. That's really sad how I'm going to die. I wish I wasn't going to die. And I started making a strategy. Here's how I'm not going to die. First, I'm going to live forever. That didn't go very far. So then I changed my strat to I'm just going to experience life. Because think about it. Let me explain this. Okay, don't write me off as a lunatic until after I say this, and then you'll be like, yeah, he's a lunatic. Okay, so here's how it works. Your experience of time is different depending on you. So, for example, when you're young, a day takes forever to go by. Oh, the rooks can't move very far now. Have I been cheating? No, I haven't been cheating yet, but I'm about to start cheating, if you know what I mean. I don't want to trade rooks. I actually do want to trade rooks, so let's offer a trade. This should get interesting here. Want to trade rooks? You'll lose if you do. Okay, so your perception of time is based on you. When you're young, the day takes a long time. When you're old, man, it is short. I've never been old, so this is kind of hearsay, but the idea is it is so short. He has to go one square at most, and I can go two, so I'm going to mad myself over here way faster than he can get over here. Hey, actually, I'll just trap his rook out. Oh, I love this. Who cares about perception of time when you could be um, winning a chess game? Right. Here's my theory about that, by the way, is that I'll get a little closer here. You notice when you do new things. For example, if you've ever been skydiving, I'm sure that was very noticeable to you. Let's change that idea. Oh, this is going to work, actually, because his rook can only go one square. I'm so amused. I wanted him to go here because I could actually just promote this thing. He can't catch it with his lame rook. It is so lame. Yeah, now his rook can't move at all. So that's pretty much a win for me. Oh, it took me a while to enjoy this variant, but now it is definitely enjoyable since his rook can't move. I can't figure out how to win this chess game. It's too complexicated for me. So, my theory is when you do new things, that you experience them for longer. If you ever done something that you do a lot, such as drive to a place that you drive to a lot, the time basically teleports away and you arrive at the same time you leave. Your brain turns off. However, if you drive somewhere new, such as if you're driving your vehicle 125 kilometers per hour in a residential zone, you will experience that in a very vivid manner. So that's my theory about young people. They're experiencing new things constantly because they've never done anything before, so everything's new. And then old people are like, I've done everything, so I'm teleporting to my own death. That's the idea. So my strategy for immortality is as follows. Perceive time. Do you know what I mean? You know where I'm going with this? Perceive time such that, hi, David. This is the guy who said he was David. So we'll just humor him and call him David, even though he was lying. He's probably cooking spaghetti too. He's probably cooking like giant bowls. I'm imagining him surrounded by stovetops with spaghetti on them. Like there's a computer behind him, but in front of him, there's like four 5 burner ranges, making 20 spaghetti pots in total. And he's cooking them all simultaneously. That's what's going on right now for this guy. Perceive time so that an infinitely short amount of time takes an infinitely long amount of experience to consume. There's actually a movie, I forget what it's called and I forget what happens in it, but there's a character near the end who's about to die. They're like 3 seconds from death and they're like, woosha, 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 woosha. And for 5 minutes, they experience those 3 seconds, 5 minutes of our normal slow brains, right? And they're talking with somebody in their experience, if you know what I mean. Okay, so I'm not making any sense. But in 3 seconds, they lived a long time. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to perfect the art of experience until I'm able to, in one day, experience a lifetime of perception. That's my new strat for immortality. Because no matter how close I am to death, I can just stretch out my experience to put an entire lifetime in the remaining time. Do you think it's going to work? Neither do I was just told that I cheated to win last game. Oh, I did cheat to win last game. Man, you guys are so on top of it. I cheated to win last game. You want to know how? For those of you who didn't notice, I had 2 pawns, right? So I'm playing by the rules, 2 pawns, 2 pawns. Well, I promoted one of them, and the fuel tank disappears out of the pawn when you promote it. So then I only had 1 pawn, and I started moving my rook and queen 2 squares, which is cheating because I had 1 pawn. Okay, now you know. What I had to do, of course, which is super boring, is move my rook and queen 1 square over to checkmate him. I would still win, so get over it. But it was cheating. Okay, so I'm deciding now to open up this game, now that I've played this mindless move. Let's try, so there's 2 options. I could play on the queen side. I could go like this and break open the center. Or I could play h5 and open this side of the board. Okay. I'm using my brain, I think. Therefore I am. Let's go with this way. Rook b8 to protect the pawn. Rooks love to defend pawns. In case you're wondering, oh no, I've trapped my own queen. Yeah, but I'm a really good player. That's how I knew it was trapped. See, a bad player would be like, oh, where do I move my queen? I don't know. Can I move it here? I resign, David. That was obnoxious. I don't want to play with no queen. But since I'm really good, I immediately knew that I was toast. See, that's what you could do too. If you become good like me, you can perceive your own death in the middle game, also known as in your late 20s, which I'm going to pretend I'm in my late 20s right now, even though I'm not. But let's pretend I was. So I'm perceiving my own death, as you noticed from my commentary, because of my skill in life. I'm super skilled. I'm able to look into the future and see that. What do you think about d4? Brilliancy, because it creates this hole, which is the whole point, if you know what I mean. I made that move so that I could pun, so that I could just make a pun there. That was the point of the pun. Let's see. Yeah, most of you guys, you aren't even thinking about the fact that you're about to die in just a few short decades. You're probably not. Oh. I got a text message. Hold on, guys. Okay, I'm done reading it. Let's play chess. Where was I? Yeah, you're probably not even thinking about your own death right now. Isn't that weird? Like, it's the most important thing. I think. It's difficult for me to tell what's the most important thing. But I'm assuming it's your own death. That's quite an assumption, but we'll just go with it, right? Boom! F5, man. Look at that move. It's so good. Really good move. Don't play c5. That would be bad. It's bad, so don't do it. I'm going to bishop f4. Then I'm going to trap his bishop. This is going to be great. Actually, maybe I'll just trap his bishop right now. More text messages. Hold on. Another follower. Chess Magician is following on Twitch. I'm doubly creeped out. It's actually a paradox, like why we're not more interested in avoiding death. Because when we're about to die, we're interested. But, you know, right now when we're not about to die, we have other things going on. Should I fork myself here? No. So where should I move? Here, I guess. Yeah, okay. That's good. I was thinking, you know, people don't have their priorities straight because instead of worrying about things that are important later, they worry about things that they might enjoy now. But then I realized, nah, our priorities are just fine. The fact is, it's just the way we're wired. Like, you can't help. You can't help but think the way you think about what you think about. Can you? No, you can't. It's just the way you're wired. Okay, so right now I'm planning to win his queen. Would this work? I think this move would work. No, he'd take it with the bishop. Would this work? No, he'd take it with the pawn. Well, okay, I'm not going to win his queen. I guess I'll just... Oh, I don't win anything. Weird. I was going to win and then I didn't win. What? Okay, fine. I have 6 pawns, so I have to start thinking about the fuel here. Only one challenger remains, and it is Stevis. Definitely want to play that guy. Old friend. Very old. Near death friend. Definitely. I wonder if there's any topics I could talk about that don't involve people dying. That would be nice. So that rules out cancer. That rules out existential crises, which is my go-to topic, if you know what I mean. Okay, what's he doing now? Moving his king. Interesting strategy. I can move this far, right? I've got 5 pawns. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sure. Let's check the guy. This actually might be a problem for him. The fact that he's in check here. Because now I could check him this way. He would take with rook. Okay, this is going to require some thinking. Because then I could take his queen, right? But he could take my queen. So let's think a little more here. Then I could check him here. No. I could check him here. He'd block with rook. Then I could check him here. That would work. Okay, let's do it. We lose the bishop. Then we check him here. Then we check him here. Then we get his queen. Yes, I look 3 moves ahead. Are you proud of me? I'm proud of me, so you should be proud of me. Now I can win. Oh, a free bishop, making it helpful. I beat him. Good game, man. Good game, Daviator. We each won 1 game, so I think we better stop. We don't want to reveal who's the better player. I think 1-1 is pretty much the perfect outcome for 2 games. We can both feel like if we just played 1 more game, we would have won the most games from the set of games we played. But since we didn't do that, we can both have that same delusion. Good luck. Put that in the middle of the rules here. Do you have any idea how to play this variant, Stevis? Or are we just going to play chess? If you have 1 pawn, knight cannot move. It's an important part of these rules. I'm pretty much out of profound things to say. You know, there are some things I could say that would just really improve your life. You know, you guys said something that would really improve my life. It really did the other day on a previous episode. I was wondering, how do I do things that I want to do, that I should do, that I don't want to do? And then someone shared with me, make deals with yourself. And man, I have made so many deals with myself. It's been fantastic. So thank you so much, random person I forgot the name of, who told me to make deals with myself. That was really useful advice. You should see the list of deals I have. I put it next to my friends list. It's way longer than 2 deals, so it's very long. And that's pretty good. So thank you for that advice. But I don't have anything good to say to you. I guess I could say, make some deals with yourself. Like if there's something I was pondering the other day. I'm a big ponderer, in case you're wondering. And one of the things I was pondering was, are people happy with themselves? Are people are you happy with yourself? I really had no idea. I just have myself, which is like, you know, I struggle with that. Sometimes I'm happy with myself. Sometimes I'm not, you know, and I guess that's everybody, right? But I didn't know, like, are most people generally happy with the way they're living their own lives, or are they generally unhappy with the way they're living their own lives? I don't know the answer to that. So since I'm talking to a bunch of people, you guys could comment below the video or in the chat box. You could tell me how happy you are with your own life, not with your own circumstances, but rather with your own behavior. Now that might sound paradoxical because you're choosing your own behavior, but let's be honest, some people do things that they don't really want to do, and some people don't do things they really want to do. So it really is a legitimate question. Are you happy with your own behavior? Because at the time I was wondering it, I wasn't very happy with my own behavior, if you know what I mean. So if you struggle with being happy with your own behavior, make deals with yourself is the solution. Hopefully that's helpful to you, because it sure was helpful to me. I've already gone running 0 times since I did that. It's not great here, this pin. This pin is not great. This pin is very bad. What is this thing? I'm very pinned right now. Oh, he's following my advice and he's attacking pinned pieces. My only hope. I think he might have a stroke and run out of time. That would be one of my hopes here. Let's try getting a bishop and a bishop for a queen. Okay. My only hope is to trade all the pawns so his queen can't move. That's my new hope. It's not a good hope, but it's a new hope. So let's trade pawns here. Let's do it. He has a queen right now. However, he won't if I trade all the pawns. He'll have a stump instead of a queen. I don't even have more pawns than he does. I should, since I gave up my queen in a valiant sacrifice. How will I trade more pawns? How will I do that? It's critical that I trade pawns here. Absolutely critical. Let's get these pawns traded. Because if we trade down into an endgame, he'll take my pawns, and that's going to be really bad. Even worse than not losing my pawns. His queen's going to take my pawns, so I need to trade before that happens. It's definitely difficult to trade these pawns for these, now that I think about it. What is he doing? Crazy man. But I could at least trade these pawns over here, right? I could at least trade these two for these two. That could be useful. I've lost a lot of queens this episode. So here's one of the deals I'm making with myself. I haven't made any deals. I'm such a liar. I made no deals, and it wasn't helpful, by the way. It's just that I say things on this show so that you guys will watch. I don't say because they're true. I mean, what's the point of that? Everybody's lying on the internet. Why don't I just lie too? Be like everybody else. Going for the trade. Here come the trades. See if it works. It's kind of scary here. Come on. Skewer that. Is it working? Okay, so now I can fork that. That's good. 4 pawns left. Unfortunately, they're all on the same side of the board, so why would anything move more than 4 squares anyway? Okay, so if I take his rook, he takes my rook. He only has 4 pawns. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes! Yes, the variant is working. Get it? Working? Because it's working right now, this trick. Look at this. Nope, you can't do that, Stevis. Too far, man. No gas. Lol. Send you lots of love. Lots of love for you. You can move 1, 2, 3, 4. The variant. Very meaningful variant we're playing right now. Okay, so we can go 4 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can get this far. Is that smart? I want to get them both down here. It's going to take me half an hour to get there. I don't know how to get my rooks down there. It's going to take me so long. But let's get started. Let's get started on arriving down there. Oh, a follower on Twitch, the Dark Lord, is following. That's cool. I'm now happy. I mean, I was concerned that someone scary would follow, but the Dark Lord is not scaring me at all, so that's great. Let's head down here. Or let's go. I gotta take it slowly here, because this rook can't jump in one move. We gotta get these down here very methodically. 1, 2, 3, 4. Legal. Wow, he made a legal move. That's interesting. Still on my way here. We each have 4 pawns. Wouldn't it be great if I took one of his pawns? That's my new plan. He sent his queen to the corner. That means it can only move in this box. That's not a great strategy. Having your queen be able to do pretty much nothing over there. 1, 2, 3, 4. My rook can already participate. Fantastic. Next plan is just take that thing. And as I take his pawns, oh, this is so fun. As I take his pawns, his pieces will run out of gas. I am so excited for this. Great, great. This is the last game of the show because I love ending in a good mood. It just brightens my day. So Dark 321 is probably the Dark Lord. So I'll reject that because I want this to be the last game. Why would I beat a Dark Lord when I can end with this move? He'll probably just resign. No, don't resign. Run out of gas. Yes. Oh, this is going to be great. Okay. Okay, it's my turn right now. Let's do it. What if he captures here? I take him. He takes me, and I'm only ahead a pawn. A pawn, that's a lot, because he's going to run out of gas. He has 3 pawns now. Oh, yeah. He has 3 pawns, so he can only go 3 squares. He's making his way over. He can't go here. You could have a draw, except your queen is too slow. This is so great. I'm going to inch a little closer. I got to get this rook closer so that I can take this. Here I come. This is so fun. I hope you're having fun. Because at least, if you're not, that's okay. I am having fun, so that's good. One of us is. If I take this. Now, take. I'll have a knight and he'll have a rook. But he's going to have one less pawn, which means his rook is going to be even slower. Oh, this is great. Oh, this is so great. He has 2 pawns now, so his rook can go this far. My knight is probably better than his rook. But just wait until I take one more of his pawns. Then his rook is going to be like worse than a king. This is so fun. Oh, I love having more pawns. This variant is better than chess. We should petition FIDE to just switch to fuel chess instead of chess. We can have the World Fuel Chess Championships, and I could probably play in them because, as you can see, I am among the best fuel chess players in the world, if you only consider the people who know about fuel chess. So that's pretty good too. There's so many good things about this. I could make a list of them, put it next to my list of deals that I've made, which, by the way, since I was lying, doesn't exist. Oh, his rook is, haha. Well, his rook can't go anywhere. I mean, it's in a box like this big. That's how big. Let's take that off. That's how far his rook could move. Oh, I am practically gleeful right now. I am gleeful about this position. That's the right word. My gleefulness is very glee. There is one thing about this position, though. And that is that his rook is still preventing me from moving up, even though it can't technically move that far. Oh, I should have pushed. Oh, well. It's going to take me a little longer here. What do we need to protect? This. So we'll play knight here. Again. And then we'll check him. Perfect. Ah, annoying. I can still do it, though. Ah, annoying. I guess I'll come around this way. You might think, oh, annoying, I have to put together a win in this position. But I'm really enjoying it, you know. There's some things that they take work, but they're fun to do. And that's what this is. Oh, you just lost a pawn, man. Your rook can go 1 square now. I think I'll just come tickle your rook. Hee hee, neener, neener. Your rook can't even escape. In fact, I can trap this thing. Oh, where will your rook go now? I don't think it can go very far. Have you ever trapped a rook with your king? You have not lived until you've trapped a rook with your king. That's a saying, of course. In reality, you have lived. I'm going to send him a big smiley face. I'm going to put a nose on it. It's that big. Very big. Okay. Now I can't be very gleeful because he has no rook that I can taunt. But I do have to watch out and not cheat here. Because if I lose all my pawns, I don't have any fuel either. So let's just bring it over here slowly. And not stalemate the guy. Oh, be very careful, ChessWhiz. On your way here. There, we arrived. It took me a long time, but my queen did arrive in the checkmate zone. Good game. That was really fun. I enjoyed that. Hey, you guys, if you want to try fuel chess, you can do that. If you want to try this, you're watching on YouTube, you're like, wow, I want to try one of these variants. He played such a cool variant every episode. Post below the video with your Lichess username. This is lichess.org, L-I-C-H-E-S-S. I took the E off because I felt like lying about the spelling. That's why it's called Lichess. You go there, you create an account with your username. You post below and say, I want to play fuel chess. Here's my Lichess username. Someone else who also has the same inclination, hopefully there's someone like that. They'll see your username, they'll come here and they'll go community, which is off screen right now, and then they'll go players. You can click community players up here. It's all completely off screen. That's how good it is. It's like hidden secret. And then under search, they'll type your username. This is the username of you. Okay. So then it's like, there's you. And then they'll send you a challenge, probably a correspondence game because you don't live nearby, and you guys will be able to play these variants. So that's one way you can find someone to play fuel chess. Because let's be honest, if you don't play fuel chess now, you'll never play it again. So this is like your one chance. This has been ChessWhiz TV. Thanks for watching.